الجحيم.
They taste not death therein, save the first death, and he hath saved them from the doom of hell.
فضلا من ربك ذلك هو الفوز العظيم.
A bounty from thy Lord, that is the supreme triumph.
فإنما يسرناه بلسانك لعلهم يتذكرون.
And we have made this scripture easy in thy language, only that they may heed.
فارتقب إنهم مرتقبون.
Wait then, O Muhammad, lo, they too are waiting.
Welcome back, my dear respected listeners and viewers. You are locked on to the Suhoor Hour on 103.1 FM with yours truly, Imam Safraskani, as we're now getting ourselves ready to commence the 4th day of fasting during the course of the holy month of Ramadan. We thank Almighty Allah for this great blessing. We pray that Almighty Allah continues to bless us with the health and strength that we're able to go through the course of the month of Ramadan, achieving our goals and being able to uplift ourselves from the spiritual perspective. At this point in the program, we now get into our lecture segment. And like I mentioned before, this morning, I want to talk about the concept that what doesn't kill you only tends to make you stronger. And this Ramadan, I want you to remember that. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity for growth. Life itself is indeed, without a shadow of a doubt, an embodiment of challenges, trials, hardships, and difficulties. Regardless of who you are, regardless of where you come from, what you might have accomplished in life, regardless of how rich you are, or what type of resources you might have available to you, challenges, trials, hardships, and difficulties will eventually, at some point in your life, find their way to you. All you do in life is you navigate from one challenge to the next. Some challenges or some trials are bigger than some. Some take a longer time to get over than some. Some are only short-lived. Some are only there for a shorter period of time. Sometimes it can literally feel like you're going through hell on earth. And you tend to start asking yourselves, when am I going to get some ease? When is this all going to come to an end? And that cycle continues around and around and around as long as we are here in this world. Well, I'm here to tell you this morning that I want you to remember this Ramadan, that whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever you may be going through at this stage in your life, however hard it may seem, however difficult it may seem, I am here to tell you this morning to be strong, my friend. Be strong. Hold on and keep holding on and never ever give up. Never ever allow the challenges of life to get the better of you. And that is one of the most important messages of the holy month of Ramadan. Ramadan promotes and teaches resilience. Ramadan, sometimes we go through smooth patches, sometimes you go through turbulent patches. When we go through the smooth patches, we thank the Almighty. When we go through the turbulent patches, those are the opportunities granted to us to become resilient. So don't think that those difficulties are placed upon you to grind you into the ground. No, that is your opportunity to lift yourself up. So this month of Ramadan, I want you to learn that This is all part and parcel of the package. And as a matter of fact, as you go through the course of the month of Ramadan and also through the course of your life as well, don't you ever accept defeat as an option. As a matter of fact, delete failure and defeat from your mind as an option. The goals that you have set for yourself this Ramadan, the spiritual goals, the physical goals, all the good things that you would want to achieve for yourself during the course of the month of Ramadan, delete defeat as an option from your mind. The only option you should leave yourself is victory. The only option you should leave yourself is success. Literally tell yourself that failure and defeat is not an option for me. The only option I have is success and victory. I have to succeed. I will become victorious, and nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, will stand in my way. My intention this Ramadan is to come closer to Allah, is to become a better individual. And as much as I have struggled prior to this time in my life, as much as I have found it difficult to connect with the Almighty, this time around, I'm going to make sure that I hit my mark. And on a broader perspective, whenever you think about your life, I am sure that you can recall moments where you would have faced adversity. When you sit down and you think back about the past years, I'm sure you can recall those moments. It could be a personal struggle or a professional setback or even a difficult relationship. In those moments, it was so easy to feel overwhelmed, defeated, and discouraged. However, it is precisely during those times that your character was tested and your strength was forged. And remember that challenges tend to push you out of your comfort zone, and they force you to confront your fears and your limitations, and they demand that you find new ways to overcome obstacles. And here's a good thing. In doing so, you develop resilience and tenacity. In doing so, you become a much better individual. Why? Because now you have experience on your side. Now you know how to tackle the problems. Now you know what the solutions are. Prior to that, when you were faced with a problem, you had no idea how to work around that particular problem. But life taught you, experience taught you, and you came out on the other side. Even though you had to go through the mill, so to say, you came out on the other side a more adaptable individual, a more positive person, and you came out with the strength and the solution that if that problem comes again in the future, you know exactly what to do to maneuver around that particular curve. You become more adaptable, flexible, you become open to change, and like a muscle, your ability to navigate challenges grows stronger and stronger with each encounter. So remember that the nature of this life is such that no situation in this life is a permanent one. Some days you may be down and out, but some days you will experience upliftment and elevation. In chapter 94 of the Quran, verses 5 and 6, Almighty Allah mentions that indeed there is ease with hardship. Most certainly there is ease with hardship. And always be sure to call on the Almighty when you find yourself in a hole. Be sure to remember Him during your period of prosperity, and call on Him during your time of need. In other words, in every situation, always get yourself in the habit of building that connection, building that bridge between yourself and the Almighty. And in every situation, you will begin to see that He will deliver you from every situation, from every difficulty, and from every hardship. There won't ever be a better time to start striving for success than right now. This is the beautiful month of Ramadan. Today is also the beautiful day of Yawmul Jum'ah. Why wait? Why do later when you can do now? Most people waste their lifetime procrastinating and thinking that yes, I will do tomorrow and tomorrow. And you know what? In most cases, tomorrow never ever comes. The truth, however, is that working on your dreams will never ever be easy. And the best time to start, like they say, was not today. The best time to start was yesterday. You never know how much time you have left in this world. And life is certainly too short to postpone the things that you most definitely are looking forward to. So don't be afraid to make a wrong decision. Making a wrong decision is better than making no decision at all. Most people are so afraid of making a wrong decision that they decide that it is better not to do anything at all, and they end up being trapped in what is known as analysis paralysis. They keep thinking and thinking and telling themselves, well, I'm going to start tomorrow, I've got another week, I can start next week. And at this stage of the month of Ramadan, you might be thinking, well, this is just the early stages of the month of Ramadan. Today we are now about to commence day 4, and so on and so forth. I've got the whole month ahead of me. Before you know it, week 1 has come to an end. And then you will start thinking to yourself, well, I've got another couple of weeks again. I can always do what I need to do. But before you know it, the plain truth is, overthinking is not productive. It is a form of procrastination because you keep delaying and delaying. Understand that Almighty Allah has given you the opportunity now. And achieving something worthwhile takes courage, discipline, and risks. And doing the easy things will never lead to satisfaction. Doing the hard things, however, isn't easy, but ultimately it will be worth it in the end. And Almighty Allah has created us all with flaws. We are all, no one is flawless. And if someone pretends to be perfect, you need to be extra careful of that person. We all have flaws. We all make mistakes. We all have weaknesses. That is precisely what makes us human. Yet one of the biggest strengths is to be self-aware and to be able to reflect on your faults. Don't ever tell yourself that you are perfect. Don't ever tell yourself that you are beyond weaknesses, because that in itself is a type of arrogance. When you think that you are high and mighty, when you are above even making a mistake, that is a kind of arrogance. And once you develop that characteristic, the door for progress will be closed upon you. So acknowledge that we are all here in this world for a short while, and the time that we have been given by the Almighty is to be used to connect ourselves with Him. One person rightly mentioned that man thrives, oddly enough, only in the presence of a challenging environment. If there are no challenges, man tends to become negligent. Man tends to become weak. So this Ramadan and beyond as well, this is a message for you, that in the face of everything you might be going through, in the face of all the challenges that may come your way, be strong, hold on, and never ever give up. For a brighter day is just around the corner. And you will be blessed in this life. And the greater blessing, the greater reward for your perseverance, most definitely will be stored for you in the life of the hereafter. May Allah bless us this day. May this day of fasting be a source of blessing, a source of upliftment, and a source of light for us as we continue on with the journey of the holy month of Ramadan. The time now in Trinidad and Tobago is 4:58 a.m. It is now time for the start of the fast on day 4. The start of fast this morning is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Parts World Limited and Extra Foods Supermarkets. And now that we are about to commence the 4th day of fasting here in Trinidad and Tobago, of course, once again, we start our fast with the niyat, or the intention to fast. And that intention, of course, is nawaitu sawma ghadin an ada'i fardhi Ramadan hadhihi sanati lillahi ta'ala, that I intend to fast this day in performance of my compulsory duty in the holy month of Ramadan this year for the sake of Almighty Allah. And of course, we pray that Almighty Allah continues to bless us during the course of this very, very special month. May this month be a means for us to uplift ourselves. May we become better individuals. May Allah remove all obstacles from our path this day. And may Almighty Allah accept the fast that we do during the course of the month of Ramadan, along with all of our worships and all of our efforts that we do during the course of the month of Ramadan.
أشهد أن لا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على حي على حي على حي على
Well, that brings us to the end of another segment of the Suhoor Hour for this morning. We thank Almighty Allah for the opportunity to keep another day of fasting. May Allah make it easy upon you. May your day of fasting be filled with the blessings and the mercies of the Almighty. Well, that's how we drop curtains for this particular hour. Of course, coming up in the next hour, we've got our weekly scheduled program, Soul Inspirations. So by all means, do stick around. We've got lots to look forward to in the next hour coming up. May Allah continue to bless you and yours. Thank you so much for all the messages I received over the past hour. By all means, may Allah continue to bless you and yours as we continue on with the journey of the holy month of Ramadan. Coming up is once again Soul Inspirations. I'll see you in a very, very short while.
جشن آمد رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
بی بی آمینہ کے پھول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
جشن آمد رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
بی بی آمینہ کے پھول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
او جشن آمد رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
بی بی آمینہ کے پھول
اللہ ہی اللہ، جشن آمد رسول، اللہ ہی اللہ، بی بی آمینہ کے پھول، اللہ ہی اللہ، جشن آمد رسول، اللہ ہی اللہ، بی بی آمینہ کے پھول، اللہ ہی اللہ،
جب کہ سرکار تشریف لانے لگے حور و غلمان بھی خوشیاں منانے لگے جب کہ سرکار تشریف لانے لگے حور و غلمان بھی خوشیاں منانے لگے ہر طرف نور کی روشنی چھا گئی ہر طرف نور کی روشنی چھا گئی مصطفیٰ کیا ملے زندگی مل گئی مصطفیٰ کیا ملے زندگی مل گئی اے حلیمہ تیری گود میں آگے اے حلیمہ تیری گود میں آگے دونوں عالم کے رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
دونوں عالم کے رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
جشن آمد رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
بی بی آمینہ کے پھول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
جشن آمد رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
بی بی آمینہ کے پھول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
کوئی چہرے کی تعریف کرنے لگا کوئی زلفوں کی تعریف کرنے لگا کوئی چہرے کی تعریف کرنے لگا کوئی زلفوں کی تعریف کرنے لگا آمینہ دیکھ کر مسکرانے لگی آمینہ دیکھ کر مسکرانے لگی ہوا مریم بھی خوشیاں منانے لگی ہوا مریم بھی خوشیاں منانے لگی آمینہ بی بی سب سے یہ کہنے لگی آمینہ بی بی سب سے یہ کہنے لگی دعا ہو گئی قبول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
دعا ہو گئی قبول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
جشن آمد رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
بی بی آمینہ کے پھول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
جشن آمد رسول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
بی بی آمینہ کے پھول
اللہ ہی اللہ،
شادیاں خوشی کے بجائے گئے شاد کے نغمے سب کو سنائے گئے شادیاں خوشی کے بجائے گئے شاد کے نغمے سب کو سنائے گئے ہر طرف شور صلی علی ہو گیا ہر طرف شور صلی علی ہو گیا آج پیدا حبیب خدا ہو گیا آج پیدا حبیب خدا ہو گیا پھر تو جبریل نے بھی یہ اعلان کیا پھر تو جبریل نے بھی یہ اعلان जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही अल्लाह बीबी आमिना के फूल अल्लाह ही अल्लाह जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही अल्लाह बीबी आमिना के फूल अल्लाह ही अल्लाह जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही अल्लाह बीबी आमिना के फूल अल्लाह ही अल्लाह जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही अल्लाह बीबी आमिना के
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, I extend to you the eternal and, of course, the universal salutation of peace. May the peace, blessings, and mercies of Almighty Allah be upon you. A most pleasant good morning going out to you on this beautiful Friday morning. It is, of course, the day of Jum'ah. We have now entered into the 4th day of fasting during the course of the holy month of Ramadan. May the peace, blessings, and mercies of Almighty Allah be upon you. I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Safraz Ghani, here in your company once again on this auspicious and very holy day of Friday, the day of Jum'ah here in Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome once again to all those who were with us over the past hour. Welcome to you again, and to all those who are now logging on, who are now joining us. Very special salam and greetings of peace going out to you and yours. May the peace, blessings, and mercies of Almighty Allah be with you. Today's Islamic date is the 4th day in the month of Ramadan. In the year 1445, the month of Ramadan, of course, is the 9th month on the Islamic calendar. Today also coincides with the 3rd Friday in March in the year 2024. And as we're now getting ready to commence the holy day of Jum'ah here in Trinidad and Tobago, allow me now to take the opportunity, of course, to officially welcome you live on air, live on the internet, and of course live on our social feeds as well for this weekly program titled Soul Inspirations, your program for inspiration, information, education, and entertainment. And of course, just as a reminder, you can send me a message via the WhatsApp number 2994103. Also, if you are desirous of looking at the live stream, you can head across to my Facebook account at Safraz, SAFFRAZGHANY, Safraz Ghani. And of course, you can also view the live feed on my personal YouTube channel as well at Imam Safraz Ghani. Those are the two social feeds that we've got available at this particular point in time. And of course, we continue to move forward with the journey of the month of Ramadan. May this Ramadan be a source of blessing, a source of mercy for you and your family as well. By all means, do stick around. We've got lots to share with you in this particular hour together. May Allah continue to bless you and yours. And may this day of Jum'ah and also the month of Ramadan bring blessing, happiness, and prosperity upon you and yours.
You lift me up high, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan, Ramadan, ya Habib. Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب. Love is everywhere. So much peace fills up the air. Ramadan, month of the Quran. I feel it inside. We strengthen my iman. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan, Ramadan, ya Habib. Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب. I just love the way you make me feel. Every time you come around, you breathe life into my soul, and I promise that I'll try throughout the year to keep your spirit alive. In my heart it never dies. Oh, Ramadan. Ramadan, Ramadan, ya Habib. Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب. Ramadan, ya Habib. Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب. ليتك دوما قريب.
You are tuned in to Soul Inspirations on 103.1 FM with yours truly, Imam Safras Ghani. As always, I must say it's an absolute honor and a personal pleasure once again to be in your company on this very auspicious day of Jum'ah during the course of the beautiful month of Ramadan. Jummah Mubarak going out to you and yours. The program this morning is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Adams Project Management and Construction Limited, located at number 66 Omera Industrial Estate out there in Arima. Contact number 645-8326-663-9144. Island Chicken Meats and Poultry Processors, located at number 47 Currently Savannah Road out there in Charleville. Contact numbers 471-3850-3825-418. Nice Brand Products Limited of number 23 Bokard Road out there in Canupia. Contact number 665-3078-665-3079. And F&A Hardware and Shopping Center, located at number 280 Russia Douglas Road out there in Barrackpore. And of course, you can contact them on 2778,000. Of course, you can message me via the WhatsApp number 2994103. Alternatively, you can send me a message via the social feeds as well. On the program this morning, of course, we've got a very, very engrossing segment as always lined up for you. We start off with a short inspirational segment, followed by a few beautiful Islamic selections. Later on in the program, as we get down to our lecture segment, this morning I'll be talking about opportunity being the greatest gift afforded to us by the Almighty. That is something that we must understand during the course of the month of Ramadan, being that the month of Ramadan is only with us for 1 month period. So that is the opportunity given to us, but we must understand that indeed it is a most fortunate gift to be handed to anyone. Let us try to use that gift accordingly. So that concept will be discussed as we get down to our lecture segment. So lots to look forward to as we get through this particular hour together. Coming up in a very, very short while is our inspirational segment. So by all means, do stick around. This is Soul Inspirations, and I'm yours truly, Imam Safris Gani.
Assalamu alaikum. See, we work so hard, sometimes forgetting about our hearts. What are we chasing for? We don't need more. I know the world is tough, but all we need to show is love. Everything will be fine. Now here's your sign. لا 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 نحتاج المال كي نزداد جمالا جوهرنا هنا في القلب لا 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 نرضي الناس بما لا نرضاه لنا حالا ذاك جمالنا يسمو يتعالى كن أنت تزداد جمالا كن أنت تزداد جمالا لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله Always be yourself, that is where you will find yourself. That is the key to the door for happiness and more. Always put your faith in your Lord, He will keep you safe. Don't ever feel no fear, He'll always be right here. لا 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 نحتاج المال كي نزداد جمالا جوهرنا هنا في القلب لا 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 نرضي الناس بما لا نرضاه لنا حالا ذاك جمالنا يسمو يتعالى كن أنت تزداد جمالا Loving yourself will set you free. You don't have to follow all the things you see. Be yourself and you will find happiness and peace of mind. Oh, we are not alone. We have Allah. كي نزداد جمالا جوهرنا هنا في القلب لا 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 نرضي الناس بما لا نرضاه لنا حالا ذاك جمالنا يسمو يتعالى كن أنت تزداد جمالا كن أنت تزداد جمالا.
A very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this morning is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Nice Brand Products Limited of number 23 Bokal Road out there in Canupia. Contact number 665-3078, 665-3079. F&A Hardware and Shopping Center located at number 280 Russia Douglas Road out there in Barrackpore. Contact number 277-8000. Island Chicken Meats and Poultry Processors located at number 47 Caroni Savannah Road out there in Charleville. Contact numbers 471-3850, 382-5418, and the Original Barbecue Hut Limited, located at number 85 to 89 Superior Road, Victoria Village, out there in San Fernando. Contact number 657-9429. Our inspirational segment is up next. Do stick around. This is Soul Inspirations. So So I want to start off this morning by reminding you of the story of David and Goliath. The narration goes that two armies were locked in battle. When the two armies faced each other, Goliath, this huge giant of a man, challenged any soldier from the opposing army to single combat, as was the custom of battle in those days. Goliath also wanted to show off his extreme strength and his extreme power. The men were, of course, terrorized, and no one had the courage to volunteer. The king offered the hand of his beautiful daughter in marriage to the man who could fight Goliath. But even this tempting offer did not change the deadly silence among the soldiers. Then, to everyone's surprise, a mere youth stepped forward, a young boy, and a roar of laughter echoed from the enemy's side, and even the king's men shook their heads. The young man was none other than David, or Dawood, as he is referred to in the Holy Quran. He stepped forward with no weapons or armor. All he had in his possession was a slingshot and a few pebbles. The king was worried, of course, and asked him how on earth was he going to defend himself against this giant with just a mere sling and a couple of stones. Dawood alayhi salam, David replied, I have full trust that Allah will certainly protect and guide me. When Goliath set eyes on the young man who looked just like a simple boy, he laughed loudly and said, is this the best you can do? Is this the best you can put forward to challenge me? David shouted back that you may have your armor, you may have your shield and your sword, but my weapon is full trust in Almighty Allah. I fear you not, and I face you in the name of Allah, the Lord of the worlds. And today you will see that it's not the sword that kills, but only the will and the power of the Almighty. And so saying, he took a pebble, placed it in his sling. The pebble shot from the sling with great speed of an arrow and hit Goliath in the head with extreme force, and in the blink of an eye, Goliath dropped to the ground lifeless, even before he had a chance to draw his sword. In the blink of an eye, Dawood alayhi salam, David became a hero overnight. This story gives us our lesson for today. It is quite simple. A simple message that when you go through life, have fear of absolutely no one. Put your full trust in the Almighty, and He will guide you through.
Yes.
Fear, one of the enemy's most popular weapons that he uses against you. Worry, anxiety, fear can overwhelm you with a thick shadow of darkness controlling your each and every single move and decision. There's so many crazy things going on in the world around us today. Wars, conflicts, persecution, oppression, violence, crime, natural disasters, economic uncertainty, unemployment, disease and death. We fear for our children's future. We fear for our families. We fear for our financial future. We fear for our own safety, and the list can go on and on. There actually is a lot that we could very well potentially be worried about. Yet the reality tells us that so much of what we spend our time worrying about never really unfolds and never really happens. So living under the weight of what if is a hard and a difficult place to dwell in. People in this world will try to threaten, they may try to intimidate, frighten, bully, or pressure you and push you around. Don't fear anyone except Allah. And that is what the month of Ramadan should teach you. Place your full trust in Allah. There's so many things going on in the world, and because we feel weak, because we feel vulnerable sometimes, we tend to place our reliance on people. We tend to place our reliance on the creation rather than the Creator. We think people can help us. Now the reality is, that there are so many situations in the world where not even the most powerful countries can control. And in those situations, we are reminded of Allah's power. Who is in control? Almighty Allah is in total and absolute control. He knows what we are going through. He will see us through it if we believe and trust in Him. So don't fear anyone but the Almighty. With Allah on your side, everything and anything is possible, and you have absolutely nothing to fear. Who Allah blesses, no man can curse. Those who don't place their trust in Allah, they are the vulnerable ones in many forms. They fear what others will say. They fear what people will think. They fear what people will do. They fear the uncertainties of life, the downs and that everyday life tends to bring for most people. They fear failure. They fear pain. They fear rejection, and the list goes on and on. So they are ultimately living in a bubble of anxiety because they have forgotten to place their trust in the Almighty. And that is a relationship, unfortunately, most people have with fear. They understood that nothing can harm or benefit. If they had understood that nothing can harm and benefit them except by the will and power of Allah, they would not be in that bubble of fear and anxiety. But without the reliance on Allah, without trust in Almighty Allah, you are robbed of your peace, you are robbed of your security, and it makes you very agitated and very, very fearful. Contrast this to those who knows that Allah is in control. Contrast this to those who place their full trust in the Almighty. And their understanding is that, you know what? It is what Allah wills, not what people wills. What Allah wills, it will happen, even if people dislike it. So today, let us understand the importance of connecting ourselves with the Almighty. We have a very short time during the course of this month. Today is the 4th day already. We've got a few short days left. Let us try to make pure our belief. Pure belief demands that a person has only the fear of Allah in his heart, and that the fear of the Almighty is not combined with the fear of anyone else or anything else. It is not possible to have two fears in the heart. The fear of Allah and the fear of man residing in the same heart is not possible. So the rules of the game are quite simple. The rules of the game of life are quite simple. Always have full trust in the Almighty. Never live in fear of anything or anyone. Be conscious of what you are thinking so you can always think positively. Do everything in your power to continue to remind yourself to be linked with the Almighty. And if you devote yourself, if you devote your time and your energy to the following rules, have no doubt, you simply cannot lose. Once Allah is in your side, you have absolutely nothing to fear.
ولن ترى عينك في الدنيا مثل سماء وتجري من تحتها أنهار عدن ترى وعطرها مسك يريح هواها سلام فلن يأتي حلمك قوما بما قد رأى مع الحبيب أن أراه في أبوابها وأمتي أن أراها في دار السلام فيا إله. I pray for Jannah, 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 Jannah. I pray for Jannah, 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 Jannah. I raise my hands in the air. I'll make a prayer. I'll make a prayer. I pray for Jannah, 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 Jannah. Just to see him standing with the Salihin welcoming them. And then he motions to me to come forward and drink from his hands. But I'll be motionless, just staring at this most beautiful man who saved me from hellfire, pleading to Allah, Ya Ummati, Ya Ummati. So blessed slave, enter Jannah for eternity. Look what Allah's mercy and blessings have brought. This is what you strive for, what you sent for. I wanna go Jannah, where no eyes never seen, no ears never heard, no mind can imagine. Paradise, no more tests, no more tears, no more trials. A paradise, just to hold my mother in my arms. A paradise, where I'll gaze into my children's eyes. Paradise, gardens beneath where rivers will flow. Paradise, when nothing will hurt anymore. Won't hurt anymore.
آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسوله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله والبأس بعد الموت. لا إله إلا الله. آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسوله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله والبأس بعد الموت. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. محمد رسول الله. يا الله يا الله كان خيتم بخطا هخازك ترشوخ وش ما بقتش قيقوتا هاتونا يا ربي حسني لك قدوينا شخلها قبل الأرض. يا الله يا الله كان خيتم بخطا هخازك ترشوخ وش ما بقتش قيقوتا هاتونا يا ربي حسني لك قدوينا شخلها قبل الأرض. آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسوله واليوم الآخر
Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah akbar. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah akbar. At times I feel that the sun is hidden by a hazy sky, and the lights around me hide the moon at night. I know you're closer than the veins that keep me living, 'cause all around me I feel your mercy. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah akbar. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah. Every now and then we need just a little time to breathe, to appreciate the trees, swaying leaves as they wave to me. Now I need your guiding light, guide me like the stars at night, guide me through the storms of life, guide me until the day I die. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah akbar. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah. Now I'm caught inside a sea of flashing light, a storm that blinds us all from wrong and right. And the trials of life seem like the mountains high, but His light above it all is worth the climb. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah. Oh Lord, my Lord supreme, how easily you speak to me, be it your sun's evening glare or the sweetness of the summer's air. And only you know how this inspires me, and for the rest of my days, true to you I'll always be. Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah akbar. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah akbar. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah akbar. Subhanallah.
A very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this morning is being brought to you from the kind courtesies of Absolute Investments Limited of Monroe Road in Canupia. The Price Club Supermarket located at Ramsaran Street out there in Chagonas, contact number 671-7777. And Point 14 Hardware Limited Wholesale Division located at Frederick Settlements out there in Caroni, contact number 662-1233-678-0857. Well, at this point in the program, we now get into our lecture segment. And like I mentioned before, this morning we are talking about the concept that opportunity is the greatest gift or the greatest blessing given to us by the Almighty. We are currently here in the month of Ramadan on the day of Jum'ah, the very blessed day of Friday, the first Friday in the month of Ramadan for the year 2024. Let us understand that this is a most beautiful opportunity given to us by Almighty Allah. There is a saying that in the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Meaning that if you have the opportunity in front of you to do something that will benefit yourself, and if you don't do it, then the only person that is there to lose is none other than yourself. And on that note, I want to share with you this particular anecdote. There were these two people traveling together. They were moving from one place to another. So they traveled for many, many hours. Eventually came nightfall. And as the sun began to set, they looked around for a place to spend the night. They happened to stumble upon a cave. They entered the cave, and on entering the cave, to their astonishment, they discovered that the entire cave was filled. The cave was filled with a lot of jewels and gems. They became overjoyed. Just as they were about to bask in their joy, the owner of the cave came around and he said, listen, this cave belongs to me, and you've got no permission to take anything from this cave. But when the owner saw the disappointment on the faces of those two individuals, he said, okay, fine, I'll cut you a deal. He said, I'll grant you permission to spend the night here, and I'll also give you permission to take whatever you want with you, but you have until the sun rises, you have until tomorrow morning. Come tomorrow morning, whatever you were able to accumulate will be yours, and you will be allowed the permission to leave with whatever you were able to accumulate during the hours of darkness. So immediately on hearing this, both individuals, they went about things differently. Immediately, the first person started to fill his bag with all of the gems and the jewels. He wasted no time at all. The other person got out his sleeping bag. He prepared himself and he went to sleep. So the second person found that to be strange. He said, well, how can you sleep in a time like this? Of course, we are tired. We've traveled a long distance. We've traveled a very long way. But we've been given a time frame from now until the sun comes up to accumulate as much wealth as possible. We can always rest after that. But the second person said, you know what? The night is long. I've got a lot of hours ahead of me. Let me catch some sleep first, and then I'll wake up later on in the night, and I'll try to accumulate whatever I can. So they both approached things differently. One person went about his way, collecting all of the gems and the jewels, while the other person went to bed. The other person who went to bed, however, he was so overcome with tiredness that he could not even wake up at the later portion of the night. And it so happened that his eyes opened when the sun started to come up. The other person, on the other hand, spent the entire night without resting at all, accumulating wealth and jewels and riches. So in the end, when the sun came up, there was one person who had accumulated this mountain of jewels and gems, while the other person went absolutely empty-handed because of his negligence and because of the fact that he missed the opportunity that was given to them. We have found ourselves in the month of Ramadan. It is as though we are given a license to collect as much wealth, as much jewels, as much blessing, as much reward as is possible. Don't become negligent like the first individual who thought to himself, you know what, I've got a lot of time ahead of me. I've got time on my side. Today is only the 4th day of the month of Ramadan. I've got the whole month left. I can collect whatever I want, whenever I want. Be like the first person who, number one, understands that he has been given a blessing, understand that his time is limited, and he spends as much time as possible in accumulating the blessings and the reward of the month of the beautiful month of Ramadan. So I want to share with you this morning 3 very important points that will help us to acknowledge and to also be able to utilize the opportunity that is the month of Ramadan that is currently right here now in front of us. Point number one, it is important to recognize and acknowledge an opportunity that is there in front of you. Many people have an opportunity there staring them in their face, literally, but because they are unable to recognize that, because they are unable to acknowledge that, the opportunity goes begging. So the first step in utilizing the opportunity in front of you is to recognize and to acknowledge that there is an opportunity there in front of me. We are here in the month of Ramadan, on the day of Jum'ah. What greater opportunity can be there for us? For blessing, for reward, for forgiveness, for mercy. Acknowledge and recognize that this is a most beautiful opportunity. Number two, it is important to plan, and it is important to have a particular method of how you're going to go about using the opportunity. Just like the person in the cave, he understood and he recognized and he acknowledged that this is a golden opportunity in front of me. But not only that, he came up with a valuable plan and a method of going about doing things in a particular way. And that is what is required of us now in the month of Ramadan. After we have gotten past the first step, after we have recognized and acknowledged the greatness of the opportunity in front of us, it is important to have a plan, and it is important to have a method of how you are going to go about accumulating all of this blessing that has been promised to us by the Almighty. On a day-to-day basis, structure yourself in a way that you can accumulate much wealth, much blessing, much reward, much mercy, much forgiveness. Structure yourself correctly, so that at the end of the month of Ramadan, when the sun comes up, so to say, or when the sun sets, however which way you want to look at it, when the month of Ramadan comes to an end, you would have accumulated mountains of rewards and blessings in the sight of Almighty Allah. And point number three, be very, very particular to ensure that you have complete utilization of the opportunity. Genuine and complete utilization of the opportunity. You've got absolutely no time to waste. Just like that, the second individual who recognized he had an opportunity, he had a plan, but he also went forward to implement that plan, and he was genuine and he was complete in his utilization of the opportunity. Not a moment went by without him collecting some type of wealth, some type of jewel or gem. That should also be our mentality in the month of Ramadan. Not a moment should go by, and your focus should not be on collecting the rewards and the blessings of the holy month of Ramadan. There is this beautiful story I want to share with you as well. It's the story of a young man who wanted to get married to a farmer's beautiful daughter. So he went to the farmer to ask his permission. The farmer looked at him and said, listen, go and stand in that field, and I'm going to release 3 of my bulls one at a time. If you can catch the tail of any one of the 3 bulls, you can marry my daughter. That is a challenge I place to you. So the young man, he went across and he stood in the pasture. He stood in the field waiting the first bull. When the barn door opened, the biggest and the meanest looking bull ran out towards him that he had ever seen. Immediately he became scared and he decided, you know what? I'll let this bull go by. I'll wait until the second bull comes around and maybe I'll be able to grab the tail of the second bull. So the first bull went by. Again, he waited, and again the door opened, and he was so taken aback that this bull was even much more fierce than the previous one. So he said to himself, you know what, I can't do it. I can't get hold of the tail of this animal as well. Let this one go by as well, and I'll wait for the third one to come around. So he stood there waiting again, and for the third time the doors opened, and this time the weakest, the scrawniest little bull he had ever seen came out towards him. He smiled and he said, you know what, this is my opportunity. This is what I've been waiting for. So as the bull came running by, he positioned himself just right and he jumped at the exact moment. He grabbed at the tail, but it was at that moment that he realized that the bull had absolutely no tail at all. It was at that moment he realized that he had missed his opportunity. Don't be like that person who misses the boat, so to say, who misses the opportunity. The month of Ramadan is a new month upon us. This is a new chapter. Let us try our very best to make it, the best Ramadan that we have ever engaged in all of our lives. And in order to be successful in this new month of Ramadan, stay focused, develop a positive attitude, and be passionate with your dreams. And Almighty Allah will continue to bless us in this life as well as in the life of the hereafter. As we're coming to the end of the program for this morning, I want to take the opportunity to say a very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this morning is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of the Price Club Supermarket, located at Ramsaran Street out there in Shagonas. Contact number 671-7777. Point 14 Hardware Limited Wholesale Division, located at Frederick Settlement out there in Caroni. Phone number 662-1233-678-0857. Adams Project Management and Construction Limited, located at number 66 Omera Industrial Estate out there in Arena. Contact number 645-8326-6639-144. The Original Barbecue Hut Limited, located at number 85 to 89 Sipera Road, Victoria Village out there in San Fernando. Contact number 657-9429. And Absolute Investments Limited of Monroe Road in Canupia. I also want to take the opportunity as well to say a very special salam and greetings of peace. Ramadan Mubarak, Jummah Mubarak going out to you and yours, to all those who message on the program, both via the WhatsApp and also by the social feeds. I say to you, may the peace, blessings, and mercies of Almighty Allah be with you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me over the past couple of hours. It was indeed an absolute pleasure to be in your company. Thank you so much for the pleasure of your company. Of course, you can catch me later on this evening as we bring to you another episode of Iftar with the Imam. Of course, you can catch me next week Friday from 5 a.m. as we bring to you another segment of Soul Inspirations, your program for inspiration, information, education, and entertainment. And of course, catch me tomorrow morning from 4 a.m. as we bring to you another episode of the Suhoor Hour. I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Safrazgani, signing out for this morning. Until tomorrow morning, until this evening, I should say, please do have an extremely blessed day. Stay safe and stay in the mercy of Almighty Allah. Much love, and may the peace, blessings, and mercies of Almighty Allah be with you. Up next is news at 6, followed by Prabhat. By all means, do keep it locked on to 103.1 FM for more inspirational and motivational programming throughout the course of the day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, it's the best day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. Waking up in the morning, got the special Friday feeling. Getting ready, hear my best.